I'd like to take this opportunity to recognize our sponsors of today's event that are so key in helping us to bring such wonderful topics to our community and to our chamber members. Center State Bank, we have Ross Hodges and Chris Perkins with us today. Kaiser University, Violet Huseman, Michelle Morgan, the Mosaic Company, Realtor Association of Sarasota and Manatee, Max Brandau and Jamie Carter, and Sons Insurance Company, Megan Rowe and Nick Tesh. So thank you very much for being our headliner sponsors. As always, we like to recognize those that come way above and beyond the call of duty, our platinum members to our Chamber of Commerce, and we have a number of those in attendance today as well. So we'd like to thank those from Carr, Riggs, and Ingram, Alice and Gina, who are with us today, and Center State Bank, Ross and Chris, Mosaic Company, and then Manatee County Government. And we have a number of those for Nick, Chi, Cherry, Deirdre, Bruno, Tina, Jerry, Karen, and Denise. So thank you very much to our platinum sponsors for being here today. At this time, the staff of the Braden Country Club will be serving you lunch, so please enjoy that, and we'll be back with you for the program shortly thereafter.
Good afternoon. We're going to go ahead and get started. Please continue to enjoy your lunch here at the Bradenton Country Club, but in respect of your time, we're going to go ahead and get started because I know Ms. Saunders has a lot to share with the business community about the successes of the district. My name is Jackie Dzelski, President and CEO of the Manatee Chamber, and again, welcome to our Headliners Monthly Membership Lunch. We're so glad that you're here as we bring what we call hot topics and cool speakers to the business community. You'll hear about the upcoming month's worth of agenda at the end of this afternoon's luncheon, but we're so thrilled that you're here in the middle of the summer as well. But the clouds parted and the rain went away for at least us to get here for lunch. Before I continue with some announcements, I want to recognize a few other individuals for joining us today. Bill Polton, your chairman of the board for the Manatee Chamber with Tropicana. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. From the school district, we have board member Dr. Scott Hopes with us today. Manatee County Commissioner Misty Servia. Misty, thanks so much for being here. And then certainly from our post-secondary, our higher ed institutions, because really it's a system. When we think about education and workforce development, one of the things that I think makes our community so successful are the tremendous partnerships that we have at all levels of education. So again, Dr. Michelle Morgan with Kaiser, as well as Dr. Karen Holbrook with USF Sarasota Manatee, and Cassandra Holmes, State College of Florida. I hope I didn't miss anyone else. Thank you, New College. I apologize, you were not on my list, and that is my oversight. But New College as well. So again, I think it's such a testament that they are here as well to support our K-12 education system, and to hear from Cynthia this morning. We have a couple of announcements that I'd like to share as you all get settled in. First and foremost, you know that your chamber moved into our new Bradenton space on Monday. Hats off to all of the partners that made this possible, and I think two that are here, and more from the team, but Folly Bryant Architecture, we cannot wait for you all to step into that space and see what has been designed for your Chamber of Commerce, which really sets the course for the next chapter of our Bradenton operations and really puts our facilities on par with the gorgeous facility that we have in Lakewood Ranch to serve the community there as well. So please stop by. You may be asked to unpack a box. I know I have 7 blue bins in my office still. But we are open, and we are thrilled to be welcoming you. We'll announce a big open house and ribbon cutting because, the Chamber knows how to do ribbon cuttings. So we will be announcing that date, but look for something at the end of August to welcome our entire membership and the community into that space with a little party. Also coming up, it launches on this coming Monday, is a new recognition that we are launching in our community to honor and recognize young professionals. You all probably know that the Manatee Young Professionals Program is the longest running young professionals program in the Tampa Bay area, and we're very proud that this business community stepped forward first to create a space and a leadership development program for young professionals. We are celebrating our 20th anniversary of the founding of MYP right now, this summer. And so part of that recognition is creating a new signature awards program for our community called the MYP MVP Awards. And so rather than tacking on some young professional awards to some other long-standing traditional awards programs that your chamber brings to you, we've created another opportunity. So on Monday, nominations will be accepted for the MYP MVP Awards. So for those young professionals in the room, for those employers that have young professionals within your organizations, please take some time to look at that nomination packet and consider nominating some very deserving young professionals in our community for recognition. We also have created a category to recognize organizations, companies that are really doing creative, successful initiatives in both recruiting and retaining young professionals in our community, because it's really a two-way street as we look at how we grow our workforce and try to attract that Gen Y and Gen Z demographic. So for those employers in the room who think that you are really doing some cool things in helping develop your young talent, make sure to consider nominating businesses and organizations for these awards as well. Terry, I'm assuming it'll be all over our website, e-blasts, all that, for as far as how you get to that nomination process. And then the awards program will be in October, so we will look forward to welcoming you all to a gala luncheon to recognize young professionals. We've got a number of other events. I'll just quickly go down some dates. Next Friday, we will welcome the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to what is maybe going to be a sellout luncheon even in the middle of July at the Lakewood Ranch Golf and Country Club. So if you'd like to join us, we've got players, front office team that will be joining us. The 40th Annual Small Business of the Year Awards is coming up in August. We have our 29th Annual Business and Education Partnership Awards, which we conduct in conjunction with the district. That's coming up in September. And then it's not too early to think about Chamber Expo, which is the big trade fair and after hours that we host with our sister chamber to the south, the Sarasota Chamber. I think we're half sold out of booths already for that November event. So if you would like some exposure through that event, make sure you get that on your radar quickly. I also, just before I introduce our superintendent, want to make a couple of comments about the Chamber's perspective when it comes to partnership with the district on education and workforce development programs. This community has something extraordinarily special, and we know that, and it's lots of components that feed into what we love about our community. And I think one of the most important is the partnership that we have between businesses and our school district, as well as many other educational institutions. But when you think about the fact that the Chamber, thanks to all of you in this room and many other businesses, is able to send 300 volunteers to be able to touch every high school senior through the Chamber's Big Bank Theory literacy, financial literacy program, or the fact that we send 150 volunteers to be able to touch every fourth grade student in Manatee County through Project Teach, the fact that we have almost 400 flourishing business education partnerships through the EPI program. That's something really special that not every community can say that they have. And this isn't new. I mean, most of these things we've been doing for decades, and it's because of the strength of the partnership between business and education. So with that, I'm going to read a very short bio per her request of Cynthia Saunders, our superintendent. She was sworn in as the interim superintendent in June of last year. And earlier this February, the school district approved her contract to make Cynthia Saunders our full-time superintendent. She has more than 28 years of professional experience as an educator, a teacher, a principal, an assistant principal, as well as numerous district-level leadership positions. Prior to becoming superintendent here in Manatee County, she served our district as the superintendent of instructional services. She is married to George Rock Saunders. They have one son, Casey, and are very proud grandparents. So please give a warm welcome to Superintendent Cynthia Saunders.
I always look forward to having the opportunity to come and speak about the wonderful things that are occurring in our district. And you are very fortunate today to hear and see the latest with our new schools and all the fabulous instructional services that are occurring. But one of the things I would like to highlight, and Jackie kind of spoke about it too, is we like to go with the emblem #WeManatee. And that represents all of us collectively in this room, in this community, that really does make our school district a shining light. And if we didn't have the partnerships, I can tell you, we would not see the success that we are seeing today. So it does take a village. I know you hear of that often. And I would like to play a short video that kind of symbolizes just what we're speaking of.
I had a wonderful experience here at Manatee High School and really across my entire education at Palmasola and Stewart Elementary School, King Middle School. I feel that my education here in Manatee County prepared me well for my post-secondary education and then for coming back to Manatee County to start my career. We have that small town charm and that feel of a really supportive community. The opportunity for you would be to go back to school and get a bachelor's degree, be able to work your way up possibly in management. Two of my favorite opportunities to volunteer in our schools each year are programs put on by the Manatee Chamber. Whether working full-time, having possibly a part-time job, and going back to school if that's feasible when you've got little ones at home. One is the Big Bank Theory. The program allows the students to envision themselves as a 25-year-old adult, and they're assigned randomly a career, an education level, and a monthly salary. And they are required to work through the system to balance their monthly budget while they use what's in their bank account to secure housing and transportation, insurance, and pay their bills. And it is an extraordinarily eye-opening experience. Project Teach is the opportunity that the Chamber has to send a business volunteer into every 4th grade class in Manatee County, and we implement a hands-on activity in which those business volunteers help the students understand the importance of first impressions. But then, more importantly, we have the students envision what they want to be when they grow up. Manatee County is made up of thousands of residents, many of whom are in the workforce, owning businesses, employing their neighbors, and those folks care about our community. They care about what's going on today, but as importantly, they care about having a voice in what we want our community to be next year and 50 years from now. I'm so proud of how Manatee County responded to the opportunity for us to invest even more in education in our community through the half-cent sales tax and the 1 mil referendum item. I am Jackie Dzelski, the President and CEO of the Manatee Chamber of Commerce, and I am the School District of Manatee County.
Join us at wemanatee.net.
Jackie is just one example of our community and residents that have grown up here and continue to come back and support our students. And if you have not participated in either one of those events, I can assure you it is worth your time. To see high school students that really are grasping the financial expectations of real world and real life is invaluable. And as she stated, without the volunteers of this community, we would not be able to conduct that exercise. That's just one fine partnership with the Chamber and the community, and we thank you for that. So, in addition, let's talk about our successes. We've been on an upward trajectory, and I would like to just give you some examples of where we've started and where we've continued to rise. And the reason I highlight 12-13, that was probably one of our toughest years in Manatee County for a school district. Those of you that have been here, we had a little bit of some financial problems as well as academic problems. I arrived July of 13, and you're probably thinking, why did you come? Well, see, a person like me loves to come to situations like that because it can only get better, right? Can only get better. And as you noticed, that last year, our district had collapsed some of those low-performing schools, and we were down to 6 Ds. And I am very hopeful that we will soon find out what our this year grades are. The state should be releasing them anytime. And I strongly believe that those 6D elementary schools will be Cs or higher this year. So that has been a tremendous accomplishment with our teachers, our parents, our community, and our partnerships helping with those accomplishments. So we really, really do feel that we are closing the gap on our district becoming an A district. In addition, these are the improvements that we have made per increment on the FSA state standards. Again, when they began in 03-04 was FCAT, but since 16, the latest assessments have been FSA, so you really need to compare apples to apples. So if you look at all of these increments, you can see improvements that are significant and definitely moving on the right trend. I mentioned a little bit of a downturn a few years ago with finances. As you can see, our district has had great strides in improving our financial stability, not only from our perspective, but from Moody's, Standards & Poor's, and other rating services. We definitely feel that we have a healthy fund balance, and with that, it gives stability, it allows us to have raises, it allows us to improve and support our employees in our district. As you know, with the millage and some of the other referendums that we've been able to pass with your support, we are now among one of the highest in the state for our beginning salaries. Yes, isn't that great? And that really was one of the main points that we were trying to make. All of our surrounding districts had higher salaries. So when we are trying to attract and retain and get a workforce into this community, well, money does talk. And we can tout our wonderful services here, but if you can go next door, either to Pinellas or Hillsborough or Sarasota, and for the same position make a higher wage, then we were losing folks in that regard. So this has really helped. The one meal this past year, our teachers received on average over a $6,000 raise, and that's very significant. We are now very competitive, and we know that we're fortunate to have this for the next few years. And I will tell you, I was looking at where were we this time last year on hiring teachers, and where are we today? Today we have 25 teacher vacancies. This time last year, we had 151. Major difference. Major difference. To be able to open the doors and every classroom have their full-time teacher there really is monumental. We are definitely preparing for growth, as you know, and I believe we have some builders in the room. But the other thing that we were so fortunate was to pass the sales tax, where we were able to build the additional schools that we needed because of the growth that we're experiencing. Now, I'm not sure, probably a few years ago when we thought about this, that it was a good idea, but we are opening 3 new schools on time in August, and they are ready. So I know, isn't that great? You know, I was sitting, Heather, I believe, had asked me, what is your population here? What's really interesting is, let me give you the figures of growth. In 2000, there was roughly around 260 people that lived in this community. Now it's close to 400,000. So, and I've heard, whether it's true or not, that in the next 10 years, it's going to grow by another 100,000. And if you see the permits and the building and the construction, that probably lends to truth. So I'm going to show you a few slides, and these are going to show you the beginning stage of our 3 new schools and where they look like today. Parish Community High. That is our completed state. I can tell you the furniture is in and it's ready to open the doors. Dr. Mona Jane. Same thing, finished. All done. Let's give a hand. Where are the contractors that have worked on these? Could you please stand? There's a few. They are just tremendous. We are having some ribbon cuttings and official opening soon. They will be notified, so I really do look forward to you coming out. If you don't have students yourself walking the campuses, they really are tremendous and something that our community will be proud of for a very, very long time. In addition to the new schools, the sales tax also afforded us the opportunity to do some renovations and repairs and upgrades on maintenance for many of our older existing schools. Because it's not just good enough that we're building new schools. We want every school to have the same level of classroom space and afford the opportunity of technology and everything else. So we're adding science labs, safety, many things are being put in place in addition to our new construction. You've probably heard of these initiatives also that we're putting in many of our schools, but brick and mortar is great, but what's going on the inside really is what counts. So we're adding a lot of great, wonderful programs, and Blackburn Elementary will be one of our Cambridge Academy schools. Palmetto High is an ACE or Cambridge Academy High School, which is a accelerated college career pathway for our high school students. But Blackburn is the elementary feeder. Buffalo Creek is our middle school. This will be the only ACE Cambridge Academy in the region, and it will open up and it is ready in August. So we're very proud and very excited about that. In addition, Daughtry Elementary will be our first in, of course, as well, the region of being a dual language school. What that means is we will be starting in kindergarten, and our students that elect to come in that way, half the students will be English speaking, half are Spanish speaking, and they will be taught with a Spanish speaking teacher only and an English speaking teacher only, and they will switch within the day so that they are being exposed to the dual language. Research shows that they will perform and accelerate and be on grade level by the 3rd grade and far accelerate beyond their peers. As you may know, Daughtry is one of our highest ELL or Hispanic populated schools. So we're really excited to pilot this at Daughtry. And if we do see the success that we think we are, we will be expanding these programs throughout our district and other regions. In addition, Manatee Elementary, we have a couple of initiatives going there. They will be a community partnership school as well as a fine arts academy. And we have many folks represented in this room that are part of that task force. So we're really excited about the services and the support. In each one of these schools are Title I. So we are really investing in our most needy students. And that's what we should be doing as well. One more great initiative that you might have heard about too at Palmview Elementary. Palmview is going to be the first career pathway school for Woz Academy, really in the nation and the state. Steve Wozniak, co-founder of Apple, is the one that we have partnered with. And that also is ready to be implemented starting with 6th grade in the fall. And in case you haven't seen, Mr. Wozniak provided a commercial for us.
I would love to personally welcome Palmview Elementary School, the first Woz Pathway School in Florida, to the family. Everyone at Woz Ed is looking forward to seeing what your learners design and build this year. Congratulations to the school district of Manatee County for giving these young people the chance to be lucky. I would tell them I hope they are as lucky as I am. The world needs inventors, great ones. If your learners love what they do and are willing to do what it takes, it's within their reach. And it'll be worth every minute they spend alone at night thinking and thinking about what it is they want to design or build. It'll be worth it, I promise.
One of the things the students will be able to experience, they will be in courses that are teaching them to code, to build robotics, to use drones. They will each be given a laptop tablet that they get to keep with them and continue keeping once they complete middle school. It will stay with them. But this pathway really is our career vocational track, and it will also have a feeder into Palmetto High School once they matriculate through the 8th grade. Another thing that you might be aware of, our district was one that has partnered with Samsung to ensure that every one of our schools, especially our secondary schools, have the most robust technology for our teachers for instructional delivery. Our new high school and middle school also is being outfitted in this way, but we have also gone and retrofitted every existing school that we have. So I have a slide that kind of explains what we're putting in our schools. It really is our job to make sure that our students are embracing the newest technologies in the classroom. We were a little bit behind and outdated. We contacted UDT and they came and did a presentation with a Samsung display.
We designed and worked together to bring in Samsung electronics to provide display technology and mobility solutions such that teachers would have the freedom to be able to move throughout the classroom and deliver important instruction to students.
I came from learning with an overhead projector to this amazing display. I don't just sit at my desk anymore. I pick up my tablet and I walk around. I'm talking to the kids and showing them as I'm writing and projecting.
The minute I got this, I was sold. I'm able to move from one piece of application to another very, very quickly.
If I jotted something down, it's there in the tablet and I don't have to keep looking for pieces of paper.
The kids can see the screen. You can monitor the classroom at the same time working with a student.
I see a difference in my kids and I see a difference in me.
It transforms the kids' feeling about my classroom.
We've built a phenomenal partnership with instructional leaders to help identify the unique needs of children today, whether it be in primary, middle, or secondary, and how technology plays a vital role in helping them close the instruction and the digital learning gap and prepare them for the opportunities in the future.
We've rolled it out to all of our high schools and the majority of our middle schools. We are providing the most current and up-to-date experience that anyone in the state of Florida is.
It's easier for me to actually do my job. See what it can do for your classroom. It is amazing and it does help.
The way it's presented to kids is a total different game changer.
Join us at wemanatee.net.
How many in here remember overhead projectors? I can tell you, you won't survive in front of a class of students today if you are not providing them the latest technology. They're almost born with an iPhone in their hand. And so it's our job to prepare them and to leverage the technology so that they understand how to use it appropriately, for instructional purposes, of course. In addition, you may have heard that we will be working on a strategic plan. Ours expires at the end of this year, so we need to now forecast where our district will be going in the upcoming years. So I'm going to put a person on the spot. I hate to do this, but Kevin Chapman, would you please stand up just for a minute? I want everybody to see and know who Kevin is. Kevin has been recently hired with the district, and he is our director over our strategic planning process. He is coming to us from more than 20 years in Washington, D.C. government. So I think if he can survive that, he's really going to be an asset here. You're going to think this is the easiest job ever. So we're really excited, and he will be reaching out to you very shortly in the upcoming weeks and months to get input in committees through community leaders and task force so that we can see what you want for this county, what you want for our school district for the upcoming 3 to 5 years. And we're really, really excited about that. I know this has been a topic in the newspapers of recent year, and it's unfortunate, but this is definitely an area that our district has taken a top priority. Dr. Hopes and Dr. Green, after the situation with Parkland last year, were one of the first to rally with our law enforcement and ensure that we had guardians and we had the police force and the sheriff's department in every school immediately. I believe it was within 2 weeks of that incident that our elementary schools made sure law enforcement was present. And many districts do not have that working relationship with law enforcement in the community. We are so fortunate because hands down, every one of the agencies has stepped up and been willing to partner with us. And we've ensured that the safety of our students is at most our top priority. So as you can see, these are many things that you hear about that we have in place. Now, when you go to a school, you can't just open the door and walk in. You have to be buzzed in, you're ID'd. It is very secure, but it's secure for that reason. So if you haven't been to a local school and you happen to go by and you're wondering, oh my gracious, well, the change was needed because of unfortunate incidents. So we are current and up to date with all the latest safety and security measures. Again, one of the things that we are doing with our capital money is putting additional cameras and additional safety features in our brick and mortar buildings. So an additional position that we're adding this year is a chief over safety and security, just to make sure that they're working with construction, with law enforcement, with our guardians, so that we don't have any gaps in what's expected. When you talk about community support, and I know we've mentioned it over and over, we would not see the success or the things that you've just recently seen, the improvements, they wouldn't have happened without the community support. We would not have been able to build the 3 schools without the sales tax, because we do not receive PICO dollars anymore from the state for building and construction. So many districts are not as fortunate as ours that we were able to renew so that we're able to have current buildings and enough new schools to provide the space with our students where it's overcrowded. So we are very blessed in that regard. In addition, the campaign for grade level reading. As you saw, we are improving our reading scores, but we have a collective unit with the Patterson Foundation, with United Way, with the community, with the Early Learning Coalition, and we are focused on our 10 most needy Title I schools, and we are moving the needle. We are going to see amazing things, and I'm going to tell you, without those efforts, Without those efforts, students would not be literate. They wouldn't be able to graduate. They would not be able to be thriving adults in our community. I'm going to give you an example of what our teachers and what our communities have done to inspire a child that was not on grade level reading by the 3rd grade and how it changed her life.
My name is Elizabeth Alvarado, and I am currently a loan officer with Capital Good Fund. I graduated from Braden River in 2012.
Elizabeth Garcia.
I grew up in Palmetto, very humble family. I have 3 siblings, an older brother and 2 younger siblings. My parents, they don't have a formal education. My dad only made it to the 2nd grade, and my mom only made it to the 7th grade, and she dropped out to marry my father when she was 15. We had this thought in our minds, ingrained by our parents, that we could make a difference in the world and that we could do absolutely anything we put our minds to. I grew up in this environment, in a place that was a bit, difficult. I guess some people can see it as that, but I was able to make it, and I say that it was with the help of so many people, specifically my parents, but then, teachers. There's one teacher in particular from my time in elementary school that made a really big impact on my life. Miss Dawn Burt is her name. When I met her, I was in the 1st grade, so she was my 1st and 2nd grade teacher. Growing up, I struggled. I couldn't read. I couldn't pick up reading or writing. And my parents, for that year, they hired a tutor. They hired several tutors, actually. They would pay $50 for 30 minutes. And I remember they would do this once a week, and it was so difficult on my family, but my parents refused to give up on me. Miss Burt was always there, and she was always encouraging me. Because she didn't give up on me. She helped my parents in whatever ways possible. She moved me forward, even though I technically shouldn't have made it to the 2nd grade. By the 6th grade, when I realized I really wanted to go to Harvard, that was my goal. One of the reasons I wanted to go there was just because I wanted to make this teacher proud. I submitted 10 applications in total. By the time Harvard decision came out, though, I had already been accepted to several others with great financial aid, and so I was pretty happy. But then I opened up the decision and I was accepted. And that definitely changed things for my entire family. I mean, the whole room started to cry. I fell to my knees. I wanted to graduate at the top of my class, and I wanted Miss Burt to be there, to be present. And she was able to be present. It's just been beautiful to share that with her, just because she made such an impact in my life and in the lives of my parents. And I strongly believe that teachers like her are the reasons that there are students like me. I went to arguably one of the best institutions in the world, debt-free, graduating, and with so many opportunities ahead of me. Immediately after graduating, I started working up in New York, in Manhattan. I was working for an investment bank. It was great if we look at the money, but the work didn't click. I personally, wanted to do something that benefited people like my parents. To me, this is home, and it's important to be working where home is. It's been an incredible journey, extremely humbling. But at the same time, I feel this sense of responsibility to make sure that I pay it forward. It was in this place, in this county, in Manatee County, that I was able to grow. My name is Elizabeth Alvarado, and I am the School District of Manatee County.
Join us at wemanatee.net.
Well, do we need to say more than that? It is vital that all of our students can read on grade level by the 3rd grade. Without the support of teachers, community stepping up to help situations just as she had, it would not happen. And it changed her whole entire family. And that's what our campaign for grade level reading is doing. So thank you guys for being here as well. In addition to that, we have experienced a lot of success with TSA. And I'm sure many of you have heard the accolades. But let me just remind, in case some missed the articles. In 2019, our F1 schools national champions are heading to Abu Dhabi. Can you imagine high school students going to Abu Dhabi to compete worldwide? Now, with that being said, last year we finished third in the world for the same competition. MTC students have excelled annually at National Skills USA, and in 2018-19, we had 6 teams representing 5 counties to win JRTC Raider competition and state championships. Manatee County has won more TSA top 10 placement than any other school district in the nation. Doug Wagner's leading up our MTC unit still, but we're hoping to find a replacement for him so that he can fully separate himself and be the deputy of operations. But that whole team over time has really done a tremendous job and has served our district proudly. We are addressing some challenges. I don't want to just paint just rosy pictures. We know we've had an ERP implementation this past year that's been a little rocky, but it is leveling out. We do feel confident that we will have the bugs finished, and the system, ask me 2 years from now, I think we're going to love it. But it is definitely been one of those things that's been challenging for us. Recruitment has been a struggle, but as you can see this year, we're moving the needle on recruiting our teachers. We definitely are in a better place today than we were last year, and I do think the millage has helped, as well as many other things that we have done to make that difference. But one of our biggest struggles we're still having is with bus drivers. So if anyone out there is willing to drive a bus or knows anyone, send them our way. We are definitely still looking for bus drivers. We want to make sure, and Mr. Barber right here, Mike, wave your hand so that everyone is aware. Mr. Barber is in charge of all of our media in our district, and now we are expanding and making sure that you have lots of places to go to get the latest information. So if you're wanting to know what's current, you're wanting to know what's happening, any changes, these areas are where you can find the information. I just gave you a few glimpses of #WeManatee, and those were produced by Mr. Barber's department, but we have lots more inspiring videos that really do represent a snippet of what wonderful things are occurring in our schools, but in our communities too. But really, our whole purpose is to ensure that all of our students matriculate, graduate, and are able to be productive citizens in this community or whatever community they choose to live in. Whether they go to college, straight to work, or the military, it's our job to make sure that we're preparing them for their way of life. And I think we do a pretty good darn job. So with that, my last video really says it all.
Hip hip! Hip hip! Hip hip! That's what I'm talking about. We're going to college.
I love you, class of 2019. And I may be a Gator now, but we will all, always be Tigers at heart.
My biggest inspiration in high school, my friends, everybody in this room right now. I would say family, but this is my family. Well, after this, I'm going into the military service, and I'm doing that just to protect everybody in this room, you know, because we got a lot of dangers out in the world, and I want to make sure everybody here succeeds and dreams. I'm willing to sacrifice my own life so these people can achieve higher.
Today is a very special day for our graduates. It marks the culmination of many years of study and hard work.
From her being on the softball field with me, from her my mental breakdowns and getting me through classes, like honestly, without them, high school would not have been what it was these last 4 years.
We love you. Mom, I know you're out there somewhere, and I just want to let you know how much I love you and how thankful I am for everything you've done for me. You are my biggest inspiration.
His name is Mr. Ortiz. He's a teacher that I had in middle school, and he helped me get through a lot of my problems, and he's kind of like a father to me. And I actually invited him here tonight, so he's going to see me graduate.
In an era when it has become easy for young people to focus on individual needs and wants, the class of 2019 chose cohesiveness, camaraderie, and caring and they have done it with style.
I didn't expect high school to be as memorable as it was, but it really made a big impact and impacted how I am and who I am today.
Class of 2019, I want to say congratulations to making it here. And it's not barely making it here, it's you made it here.
This life is yours, so live it in a way that makes you happy.
The choir has given me so many great friendships, relationships. I know each and every single person on a different level. We just grow through music, with music, for music.
District of Manatee County. Join us at wemanatee.net.
It is. I'm very fortunate to be the superintendent of the school district of Manatee County, and I look forward to the continued partnership with this community, and I know that 1920 will be even better than what we've had before. Thank you. Absolutely.
Thank you very much. And I think we have a roving microphone, and Superintendent Saunders will field a few questions now.
My name is Bill Smock. I own Gator Plumbing. I've been a member of the Chamber for many years. I'm a graduate of Manatee High School, Manatee Community College. My big question, though, is for, along with all the other construction companies in the business that are in the room, what are we doing for the workforce? I mean, I know you talked about the one school, but I still saw a lot of focus on college education. Nothing wrong with college, but a lot of your students aren't going to go to college, and we need to be introducing them to the trades, letting them know that there's great careers in the construction industries. It's debt-free education and a good, strong living wage, and it needs to be promoted now more than ever, because we need a workforce. We're dying out here.
Absolutely, and I'm glad you mentioned that. We've discussed that topic. Of course, we promote we have one of the best technical colleges in the state that definitely many of our students choose. But myself with Jackie and another task force team, we have a plan this next year that we are doing college tours, but we're going to be doing business tours. And I believe you're setting that up right now. It will be in the fall. And we're taking them so that they can go into the business community, see what job opportunities that are there, and the end of the tour will be at MTC. I do think in many cases, students don't know what they don't even know, and parents aren't aware of the jobs and the ease of what we have available in this district. So you're right, we've got to expose them, we've got to promote it, and we've got to make sure the students know those options and those opportunities. In many cases, they can finish with their technical degree within a year and end up making more money than a 4-year degree, a teacher, law enforcement, etc. So we do have that scheduled for the fall. And so if your organization wants to be on our tour list, Jackie's the point person. But you're right, we do need to expand and make sure that students have all the options afforded to them.
My name is Louis Zinzi. I'm a volunteer on a number of different committees for the Chamber. I am happily retired. But I have one question. You had a slide up that showed that Manatee County is the highest paid county for teachers.
Starting pay, yes, sir.
Starting pay, okay. Where do you stack up against the rest of the country, and not just Florida?
Well, we won't be the highest if you're looking at some of the, so really we only did a comparison of Florida because we know that the salaries in some other regions are higher than the state of Florida. So we really only did the study there. But you know, our state funding formula is not the same as it is structured in some other places. And so without the millage, we would not even be at that wage. But I'll be more than happy to get that and maybe divert it to Jackie and she can share, but I'll certainly go back and give you that information.
Your efforts to promote Manatee County as a place for teachers to come and work.
Well, we're definitely promoting if they're moving down here and attracting the growth and the opportunity and the salary for the state of Florida as such. But I do know that places up north, New York, some other DC areas certainly start and make a higher wage than we do. No doubt about it. Yeah. It's all relative, but yes. Those that want to come to the sunshine, we want them here. Yeah.
Other questions?
Great. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Superintendent Saunders. That was very educational. And I hope we take away more than overhead projectors. That's kind of a great reminder of how far we've come. You might ask what's next. August 14th, Wednesday, we have our next headliner luncheon, and we'd like you to put that on your calendars and join us. We have Chief Judge Kimberly Bonner, and if I have it correct, she is the first female head judge of the 12th Judicial Circuit. And her topic, which you might not expect coming from a judge, is how the courts impact our business community and quality of life. So it sounds like a very challenging conversation that she's going to have with us next month. I want to thank our sponsors again for Sons Insurance Company, Realtor Association of Sarasota and Manatee, the Mosaic Company, Kaiser University, Center State Bank. Thank you always to Charles Clapsaddle and Chris and METV for being here and filming this event. And I want to thank the Braden Country Club and their staff for a wonderful service and a great event. That concludes our program, and thank you for coming.
Thank you.